Hey, welcome to my channel, and today I have a sort of theatre vlog for you. So today we're actually heading to the Lowry for a press launch of 42 Balloons, which is a new musical which will be opening at the Lowry in April this year. So I'm really excited to go and see it. There's going to be some talks, there's going to be some singing from the cast, and it should be a really fun day and we're looking forward to it. And my mum is going to come with me, so obviously I'll film as much as I can for you. I think we are planning to film one of the songs that they're going to be performing today, which will be so much fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this little video. City, the bridge that we usually walk across is closed, so we're going to have this one. It's the media city just opposite the ITV building there. I'm just going to walk around a bit early anyway, so should get there on time. It starts at 2:15, whatever there is in 2 minutes, so plenty of time. So we've just arrived at the event. We've got a little cupcake. And this is a little pin badge. So it should be starting soon. So there's going to be some talks here and then a performance over here. So it should be really good.
We have the terrible job of being invited to go and watch as many shows as we possibly can in order to bring them to the Lowry. None of you would like that job. It's better to leave it to us, I think. Now last year, actually in November 2022, feels like a world away, but actually not that long ago. Wendy and Andy Barnes in the room. We'll hear a bit more from them in a minute. Producers. We've worked with them. They represent a company called Perfect Pitch, who develop new musicals, but also for global musicals, who are producers of Six. Never heard of it. But they invited us to a concert production of a brand new musical called 42 Balloons, which was going to take place on the set of Six in London on Monday nights. 4 Mondays, was it, Andy, Wendy? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, across November 2022, we went down for one of them, and well, I think you can probably guess what happened next. But we loved it so much. The energy in that room was just incredible. Bearing in mind, this was a concert production on the set of another show, and we were so keen to be involved. We were keen to make sure that, if possible, we could have the world premiere of that production here at the Lowry, and also to be invited and gratefully accept to be an associate producer on the production as well, alongside Sam and Debbie. We also have many other lucky people on the show, so great to have them with us here today as well. But I won't tell anymore because I don't need to. We can do a lot of showing today. We're going to have a couple of performances, live performances, but first, to give you an idea of what you're getting into today, let's give you an introduction to 42 Balloons.
So just to give you a little bit more in case you're not aware, this is composer and writer Jack Godfrey. He's a musical theatre composer, lyricist and writer, alongside 42 Balloons. His current projects include This Is a Love Story, which is being developed in Birmingham as we speak, hopefully for a production next year, and Babies, which also had a recent workshop production in London at the Lyric Theatre. Welcome Jack, and also big huge welcome to the fantastic lead roles, Larry and Carol, played by Charlie McCullagh, and Evelyn Hoskins, hugely experienced. I'm sure many of you have seen them in productions. Sadly not here, I don't think, but we're correcting that now. Yes. But certainly in Manchester, London and May, other places besides. Charlie recently appeared in Bonnie and Clyde in the West End, is currently in Jesus Christ Superstar, playing the ultimate Jesus, and in fact we get you back, don't you? So we get you twice. Yeah. And Evie, of course, Waitress, Spring Awakening, Gypsy, and I was saying to Evie that new musicals absolutely you're no stranger to them, because a little bit while ago. No, me as much as you. You were in This Is My Family, which was a brilliant new musical developed in Sheffield. So yes, great to have you here. And last, definitely least, no. I'll take that one. Yeah. Andy Barnes, producer, alongside Wendy, of course, launched the award-winning musical theatre development company Perfect Pitch, and the Lowry's worked with Perfect Pitch over a sustained period of time. We had it developed with the Lowry programme with Warnings of the Curious, and also Game Theory. Josh is in the room as well, Josh Frey. Game Theory, we did that as part of our rewrites programme for new musical theatre quite recently too. So, but also in 2017, Wendy and Andy founded Global Musicals to produce projects independently and in association with Perfect Pitch. Originally spotted by them as a student production in Edinburgh, Global's inaugural production was indeed Six, a new musical which they now produce across the world. Give them all a round of applause. We're very So Jack, we'll start with you. Yes. Can you set the scene, tell us a little bit about what we just heard, but also perhaps, tell us about the story, tell us about Larry.
Yeah, maybe I'll start with that. So 42 Balloons is a kind of 80s pop style musical inspired by the true story of Larry Walters, who's a man from LA, and in 1982 he flew over LA in a lawn chair attached to approximately 42 helium weather balloons, like the really big 6-foot wide ones. So the musical basically tells the story of Larry getting this dream and then meeting his girlfriend Carol, played by Evie, and then basically telling her that he has this dream to fly, and together the two of them making that happen. And basically the first act of the show follows them from the kind of inception of the dream to the point where Larry takes off, and then Act 2 is everything after that, so the flight itself, and then the world's kind of reaction to the flight. Larry became a bit of a kind of minor celebrity at the time, so it's kind of the world's reaction to the flight and everything that happened after that. And that song, which we just heard by this incredible cast, who I can't believe are doing the show, it's ridiculous, is the first song of Act 2, which is basically, we kind of zoom out from this story of Larry and Carol, and we see several different people within the world. There's like a kind of a pilot, a police officer, an air traffic controller, and a radio operator, who are all responding to this flight and being like, oh my god, what's going on? So that's kind of that song. It's the opening of Act 2.
So the completely amazing and bonkers thing about this is, of course, it's based on a true story.
Yes. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Right, yeah, and I think it was like 6 years ago, I was just kind of in one of those like late night internet binges, the one where you're just like, and I was at the time I was thinking about what I wanted to write next. I like recently moved to London, and I had this dream of wanting to be a musical theatre writer. So I was thinking a lot about dreams, and then I discovered the story of this guy, and I was like, oh no, he's just like me. Because I've also got this like ridiculous dream that I want to be a writer, and people in my life would be like, oh yeah, good luck with that, we'll see what happens. Look who's laughing. No, but I think I just really connected with this, with Larry and Larry's story as someone who's a bit of a kind of outsider, and someone who wanted something that people might think was a little bit strange, but then the more you dive into it, I think the journey that I went on with that was actually like, wow, there's so much in this that I connect with, and I think so many people do, because we all have our little dreams, or big dreams, or whatever they are, we all have dreams, and I think that's something we can all relate to.
Thank you. That idea of following the dream. Yeah, absolutely. So Andy and Wendy, why then, at what point did you think, this is something that's interesting, this is something that we can get involved in?
I think the moment we heard the music finds you, and you kind of go, and you've heard a snippet of it, there's a retro 80s feel to it, but with a contemporary twist, I think. And I think we very much felt that it was our vibe, a little bit older than some of these people. So I remember the 80s, I remember the feel, and I thought it had a real balance of nostalgia with an incredible story. But what's really interesting is Jack describes the kind of craziness and the dream, but it's such a heartwarming piece as well. There's so much substance to the story of their lives, Lowry and Carol together. I mean, he did a crazy thing, but couldn't have done it on his own. And I think there's some wonderful metaphors for life within the narrative of the story that allows us to kind of all relate in our own way, whichever bit of the world we're living in. And I think that's what made it to us something that we could produce and bring here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Lowry and Carol, who were introduced to in the story. I think we all feel. I definitely felt watching it. Everyone can understand a bit of Lowry and a bit of Carol. They know where they're coming from. It's very much a real person story, obviously based on true life. But I think even in our own worlds, I think we can associate with them calmly. What was it? So you two, when did you become attached? Obviously to the show, and what made you continue? You were in the original concert productions, and now you're following through to the world premiere.
Yeah, we met in the final round of the auditions essentially for the vaudeville concert at a time when it was very, very close to the sort of final decision being made. It's really funny, actually, just earlier I was talking about that moment where I was in the audition and I went, I do this job and I really want to do this job, because the more material kind of on the music, the more material I got to hear, the more I was this is kind of great. And then there's a line in the show, it's you can look it up after the show. The more research you start to dive into, you go, this is crazy, and that really drew me in. And then when we were doing that audition, and there was just that moment where I was working with Evie for the first time, and we'd never met before, and I went, I really hope I do this job, and if I do it, I hope it's with this person. And then from the very beginning of rehearsals, I was very I think this is great, and it's going to be fabulous, and I'm going to cling on to this by my fingertips. And it was just a really wild experience, and there was a moment that we both, because we didn't get a lot of time off stage, there was a moment that we shared in that first night where we were people really like, because when you do something new, you don't know if people are going to like it, and that's kind of the scary part. But I was not shy in making my wanting to stay involved in this project. I was very, very abundantly clear. Joe, being the music supervisor, asked me, he's the producers could give you a gift on opening night, what would it be? And I was first refusal. I don't need anything else. But so I'm so grateful to get to be here and to still work with Evie on it, and with this amazing team who have been so open to letting us be a part of the creative process as well, and now to be here in the Lowry and for its world premieres.
I wonder if your experience, This Is My Family, I think Waitress as well, even Spring Awakening to some extent, I think there's a connection to people in those shows, and obviously interesting to you. What is it about this show that you feel is so exciting? You said it's your mum's favourite show as well.
It's my mum's favourite thing that I've done. I was saying to you earlier, and echoing what you said about the 80s, there's a nostalgia there, but also it's brand new, and I think that's what's really special, is that it feels familiar, but it's new. And that opening night at the vaudeville, the very, very first night, and we've been working in this rehearsal room for weeks, and we had the luxury of a lot of rehearsal time. We didn't know what these guys knew, but I think us as performers were a bit we don't know what this is, how is this going to go down? And we went out and it was it was a cult show already, that it felt like you were at Rocky Horror Picture Show, and people were screaming, our first kiss. People were obviously the tension, you could feel it in the room, and it was so special. I've never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah, it was wild. Bearing in mind, this is 4 or 5 performances on Monday night in London. it's not going to have the same kind of marketing budget as Six or Lemons or whatever it is, but it was wild in there. It really was. People really got behind it. It was exciting. Who else, so apart from Larry and Carol, who else takes part? Who are these wonderful people playing? Who do we get to meet?
So we also get to meet Ron, who's Larry's friend, who's played by Jean, and it's very interestingly, it's brought in primarily because he's a video camera, but they have this wonderful friendship that grows, and then reluctantly, Carol's mum is.
See if you can guess who's playing my mum.
Gillian Hardy, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we'll hear more from Gillian soon. So anybody else?
There are a couple of, there's a kid. Well, I'm not going to spoil
No, okay, maybe no more.
Well,
That's all we need to know.
There's a couple of faces that people will recognise.
I think it's fair to say there's some characters.
There's some characters, but I think what's amazing about it as well, and I think what people will really enjoy is that even though you sort of have these like Larry and Carol throughout, and you have the ground crew of Carol's mum and Ron, the entire cast and ensemble are just a living, breathing part of this show. They are almost involved in every single sequence, and every single member has a moment where they sort of take the stage and they propel the next part of the story forward. And I think that's something that even you've seen in that first song. It's one of the most beautiful parts about the show is that it is such a community feeling. And I think that then that really comes across with the audience, that they feel like they're a part of that community.
Yeah, that's it. I think I definitely got that feel that you're all in it together, and in terms of being on stage or whether that happens in the performance or not, definitely had that community feel. So Andy and Jack, let's start with Jack. So the music, it's all original music, just making that absolutely clear. But there is an 80s vibe. How much of an influence? What did you use? How did you create the score?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it all started from obviously the story taking place in 1982. I thought this has got to have a kind of 80s flavour to it to reflect that. I think there's something really, for me personally, I was not alive during the 80s, but I listened to a lot of that music growing up.
Oh dear.
I was I'm sorry.
Alienated by the line. Not everyone.
Just so young. It's actually not true. But I listened to lots of that growing up. My parents really played me a lot of that music growing up, and I think there's something really special about the style of music in the 80s. Is there's a kind of emotionality and such a kind of clear directness of emotion in so much of that music that I think in a lot of contemporary modern pop music, everything is trying to play it quite cool. Whereas these 80s pop power ballads are just so heart on your sleeve, giving it 100%. And I think that's something that I thought really connected to the story, which is about these two people who come together and are just screw it, we're just going to follow this dream, and it's us against the world. I think that was a big theme that's really been a part of the writing process of the show, and that feels so reflected in so many classic 80s songs, 80s power ballads and 80s music. And there's also so many different styles as well. So we really dip into the kind of the power ballad. We have the kind of big rocky numbers. There's some kind of 80s hip hop style music in there as well. So I tried to just dip into all these different genres and give the piece a kind of real variety of 80s flavours.
Yeah, great, and you absolutely deliver. Andy and Jack, actually, but start with Andy. The response to the studio performance, the workshop performance were amazing, but presumably still a bit of work to do. What happened? You've announced the cast as well today, so what happens from now? What's been happening? And Jack, from a creative point of view as well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, since November 22, Jack's been actively rewriting, and we've done a couple of little workshops along the way to kind of tweak bits that we felt could be improved. And now, I mean, this is it's a moment where a lot of our work as producers has kind of been done, and we kind of hand over the reins to the people who do these bits better, which is our amazing director Ellie and Joe.
Who's also here.
Name check Ellie, name check Joe. There's everyone who's part of our team. I mean, we've still got a lot of work to do, but I think we've announced the creative team today, the rest of the creative team. We've got some brilliant people who are realising the physical production of this show in a way that certainly wouldn't have come out of my head. I think that's what's the joy of this, is you put it in the hands of people who have similarly crazy ideas as Larry, and they kind of go, what about this? Maybe that would work, and you'll kind of go, let's set it. I won't spoil it, but, and then you kind of suddenly go, that's genius, it's brilliant. So I think our job as producers now is to kind of just keep guiding the process to opening night and supporting where people need support and reassuring where people get wobbly and just go from there. But I think the joy is the piece stands up, it stands for itself. We've developed a lot of new musicals over the years and worked and read a lot of them. This is up there with the best. It is, I'm not going to say that. It's as well.
Yeah,
but it's really good.
So Jack, for you and Ellie, what were your focus now before rehearsals begin?
Yeah, and just to kind of reiterate that as well, like what I love about musical theatre is it's such a collaborative art form, and even there's my name on the poster over there, which is like very strange, because it's such a team that we've put together, and I like absolutely couldn't have made the show without Ellie, who's been my dramaturg on the show from like day one essentially, and we've really made the show together, and Joe came on very early on as well, so and Alex, our choreographer, and everyone in the creative team and cast, like it's that. I think what makes musicals special is that it's such a team effort, and that we all make it together as a team. But since those concerts in November 2022, quite a lot has changed actually. I'd say there are maybe like 4 or 5 like brand new songs. You're going to hear one of them in a bit, which is totally new since the last version. I think Joe was saying earlier there's like 25% of the show is like a kind of rearrangement or like reorchestration or something, so quite a lot has changed. Mainly like Act 2 stuff, I would say, but in general lots of changes, so we're really trying not to rest on our laurels and just tell the story in the best way that we can. I think that's it.
Yeah, musicals are rewritten, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just keep going.
And there's something where as soon as you see something in front of an audience, you really realise like what works and what doesn't work and what to take away. So the fact that we got to do those concerts was such an invaluable part of the process, because you learn so much from seeing the audience's reaction to something.
Yeah, so obviously the Lowry's incredibly excited to be able to be part of this amazing journey. We're gonna, it's gonna be rehearsed in London, but then move up here for the final period of rehearsals and the production period being made in the Lowry's Keys Theatre, and opening on the 18th of April. So, Andy, why, without putting you too much on the spot, why is it important to come to Lowry, or I guess, not just the Lowry, but outside of London or outside of New York? Why here?
I think there's a lot of reasons. I think without going over all ground about London-centric cultural offerings, I think Manchester has a lot to offer. Salford in particular has a lot to offer. And I think what we found is we had an existing relationship with you where there was a zest for new work, and I think it's very easy to fall into a pattern of you do this and you do it that way and you build it this way with these people. And actually what excited Wendy and I particularly about this was how do you tap into the world of an audience who understand new work and who have a desire to come and see it, and actually we find that is wider spread sometimes outside of London. And the audiences are a little bit more open to seeing new stuff in development that isn't necessarily based around a coach party to the big smoke. So I think for us there was a host of reasons, but I think also the team here are fantastic and the resources here are fantastic, and it's a privilege to come and be housed here for what will be the world premiere and what will be an incredibly exciting time for us. It's something that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, we can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. And then what? What after here?
Watch this space. I mean, the idea here is a bit like the concerts in 2022. We'll still keep working on it. We've even built in time into this run to rework little bits and check that it's exactly how we want it to be. So who knows where we'll go after that? Maybe it'll keep coming back like 6 years. I think we've been here 4 times now, or 6
at least.
Maybe it'll come back every Christmas. Who knows? But I think we've got big plans for it. I think it's an LA story, so maybe one day we'll get to do it there. But I think certainly for now the focus is on Salford and getting it right here, and telling the story that Jack's, keen to tell in the right way, and with the right message. It's an inspiring piece, and I think, and remembering it's true. Like, that's the weird bit, that all of this, it actually happened, and that's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, thank you, Andy, and thank you, Jack. I'm going to ask one more question for you two, but in the meantime, if anyone has a burning question, this is your moment. Okay, so please just raise your hand, and yeah, okay, keep thinking. So you two can get the last moment from me. Why should people come and see 42 Balloons at the Lowry?
I think for me, like, Jack kind of summed it up so well. Like, I think that there is something that everybody can get from this show. I think that, yeah, of course, the 80s nostalgia, whether you live through it or, like, it's very big at the moment anyway, due to things like Stranger Things and all that going on. But I think everybody, regardless of time period or generation, has had that feeling of wanting something so much, and that other people don't understand that feeling. And I think that this show really, really just, you will connect to it. And I think that is the part that makes this show truly special, is that we can all relate to Larry's dream. Maybe we don't all want to fly lawn chairs, but there's going to be something in your life that at some point you have wanted, and somebody's went, what do you want that for? It's a bit weird. Like, and I think that's just what makes it special, and it's about the human connections as well that Larry and Carol make along the way. I think it's truly a special odyssey of this couple.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything to add, Ian?
I mean, he summed it up. The music, you'll leave humming or singing these songs for days, that it absolutely works.
Your mum will be here, yeah?
My mum is, she's bringing a coach load up from Somerset, so don't worry. It's a long trip, actually.
Yes.
We're going to make the moustache popular again.
Yes.
We're bringing it back.
Team, there's our challenge. All moustaches for the opening. Okay, right, any questions from the floor? Yes?
I'm really looking forward to seeing the show. And I just want to make an observation, really. Because I looked up Lowry, who was a truck driver, and sadly he committed suicide 10 years after this event. And I'm in the construction industry, and 800 people last year committed suicide. And I was just thinking, you've not produced the magazine or the booklet. Maybe at the end of the show, just as a nod to Larry and other people like Larry, who all need some support. Maybe we could have pockets to donate to mental health first aid, just mental health well-being. And I'm not going to be negative, because I think this is great. I've even got a badge. And so really, great applause to everybody. I love the song. I just think, let's get something positive as well. Not just for the Lowrys, I know the Lowrys very much, but for people who need the support. We all need that at some point in our life. And I just think it would be a really nice thing to do.
Absolutely. It's like, you bring up a very important point, which is, that is addressed in all the information that comes out ahead of the show, and indeed following the show, and it is, forms part of what is discussed in the show. And do you want to add?
Yeah, no, we hugely supportive of that. I think, it's something that we're very passionate about, and, we can talk about, and I think we should talk about it, and I think by raising money that's to do that. But bucket collection is probably the simplest easiest way. I guarantee people will be putting notes in the end.
Indeed, yeah. Any other questions from the floor? Yes.
I loved reading the story, and I've loved it today. And one bit I really enjoyed was what Larry took up with him, and it included a beer and a sandwich of course. I just wondered what you guys would take up with you.
Oh, that's a question. Yeah, so we won't tell you everything, but yeah, there is. Keep thinking.
That's the best question.
That's a great question.
So yeah, Larry took up a few special things up with his balloon, with his balloons in this chair, including beer and a sandwich to enjoy when he was up there. So the question is, for each of you, and this I think is a good place to finish before the last song. What would you take up with you? We'll start with Andy. Go on.
Thanks. I would take up the EP of 42 Balloons, because It's so good. And it's coming out in March. 8 brilliant tracks. I take that and just listen to that. Up in the sky, what better place to listen to it?
It'd be a very topical place to listen
It's
to.
very topical. I'd really relate. Amazing. And probably some food, because I get hungry. But, yeah.
I might bring a guitar. Typical composer answer, but I think it might be a nice place to just like play the guitar. Just maybe write some more songs for the show. Get some inspiration. Yeah, a guitar. That's right.
Go on, Evie, what would you
I would take a camera up, which Larry did, but he never used it. Yeah, I mean, it was an eventful flight, so we can forgive him. But I would probably take a camera and take some selfies.
Oh, Charles, it's kind of funny because I think mine's such a loser answer now, but it's kind of on the PMV and the VV. It's like, Larry brought all this stuff up and he brings the camera out, but he's so caught up by it that the beauty of it all that he doesn't take a single photograph. So I feel like I would want to bring anything that's a distraction. I'd maybe be a bit like, I'd bring me sandwich and I'd just enjoy the view while I had it.
Good navigation lights.
No watching light through a mobile phone view, that's like a good answer. Fantastic. Go on, yeah.
Probably all of the classics that I've never read that I think I should read and everybody's read, and I'm always like, oh yeah, I know exactly what happens there, and really haven't read half of them.
Fantastic. Please give a huge round of applause for our...
Hi, so I'm now back from the press launch of 42 Balloons at the Lowry, and I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about the musical and also about the press launch. So I'll start off by telling you a little bit about the musical. So 42 Balloons is a new musical written by Jack Godfrey, and it's going to be premiering at the Lowry in Salford from the 18th of April to the 19th of May 2024. The show has a fantastic 80s inspired pop score, but although it's like 80s inspired, it does sound really fresh and modern. It doesn't sound dated, it just has a really good like 80s sort of sound to it. So the show is actually based on a true story. It's based on the story of Larry Walters, a truck driver from California who on the 2nd of July 1982 made a 45-minute flight in a homemade aerostat made from a lawn chair and approximately 42 helium-filled weather balloons. So Larry actually ended up flying 16,000 feet into the air, and he fulfilled his lifelong dream of flying. So the musical has actually been in development since 2020 with Pitch Perfect, which is an entity which is dedicated exclusively to creating, developing and promoting new contemporary British musicals. So in 2021, 42 Balloons and a Lawn Chair, one of the songs from the musical, was released on Perfect Pitch's Rise Up YouTube channel. Then in November 2022, 4 semi-staged concert productions took place at the Vaudeville Theatre in the West End, and these concert performances received fantastic positive feedback and reviews from both the public and theatre commentators. And also I've heard good reviews from people that actually went to the concert saying how fantastic it is and how great the score is. So that's what's really got me interested in it, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more of the songs. We did get treated to a few of the songs at the press event, so I'll just tell you a bit more about the press event and what happened. So the press launch itself took place on Wednesday the 24th of January 2024 at about 2 p.m. It was at the Lowry in their Pier 8 room, and as we arrived at the event we were invited to get some drinks. So they had tea and coffee and water set out which you could collect and then take into the room. And then as we entered the Pier 8 room we were greeted by several large round tables, and at each place setting on the table there was a little cupcake which was themed to 42 Balloons, and also a little pin badge on the plate as well. So you were invited to take a seat at any of the spaces available on the tables. And so I had gone with my mum, so we found a space with these 2 spaces and we sat down and we tucked into our cupcakes. I ended up with a chocolate cupcake. I think my mum had a red velvet cupcake and they were very, very nice. We also got the pin badge, which I've actually got here. So everyone got a little pin badge. Okay, so everyone received one of those. So then once everyone was settled and seated, Matthew Ames, who is the Lowry's head of theatres, welcomed us all, and then he introduced us to the cast, which had actually just been fully announced that morning. I think 2 leads had already been announced, but the rest of the cast, the full cast, had then been released that morning. I can actually quickly show you the cast and who is in the show. So if you actually go onto the 42 Balloons website, it does list the cast on there. So playing Carol, we have Evelyn Hoskins. She's been in things like Waitress, Spring Awakening. That's just a few that I know that she's in. We then have Charlie McCullagh as Larry. He's currently in Jesus Christ Superstar as the alternate Jesus. We then have Gillian Hardy as Carol's mum. LaJuan Shepherd as Ron. We have Simon Anthony as Letterman and cover Ron. Jordan Broch as ensemble and cover Letterman. Madison Bulmont as the kid. Athena Collins as ensemble and cover Carol's mum. Morgan Gregory as ensemble, Matt Jones as swing. Luke Lechman as ensemble and Rebecca Lowings as Carol's as a cover for Carol. You've got Jamie Pritchard as cover Larry, and you've got Laura Dawn Pyatt as ensemble and dance captain. And Laura is actually currently in Six, the UK tour, playing Anne Boleyn. That's what she's doing currently, I remember that. And then you've got Tina Vimbanashi, Simbanda, as ensemble and assistant dance captain. I apologise if I pronounced that name wrong. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then we had Natasha Wild as a swing. So that is the cast for 42 Balloons. So after the cast were introduced, we then got treated to a performance of 42 Balloons and a Lawn Chair, and we were allowed to film this, so it will have been featured in the vlog section of the video. And that song was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and it was such an earworm, and I have literally been singing the song ever since I've got back. So really loved hearing that song. So after that performance, Matthew Ames then headed a panel discussion with Jack Godfrey, the writer, Andy Bourne, who is one of the producers, Charlie McCullagh, who is going to be playing Larry, and Evelyn Hoskins, who is going to be playing Carol. So during that discussion, I learned quite a lot about the musical, and it's really got me excited to see the show when it comes out. Obviously I did record the panel discussion, so you will have heard everything that was said, and yeah, really looking forward to the show now after hearing what they had to say. So then after the panel discussion, the floor was then opened up to questions. One person asked if it might be possible to raise some money for a mental health charity at the shows, possibly by bucket collection, as they mentioned that Larry did suffer from depression, and he did actually commit suicide in 1993, so they thought that might be a nice thing to do. So Andy Bourne actually said he thought that would be a good idea, so they might actually do that at the show, maybe have some bucket collections at the end. We'll have to see what they do once the show opens. Another question that was put forward was, if they were to take Larry's flight, what would they take up with them? Because you know, when Larry went up, he did take a few things with him. He took a sandwich, something to drink, which I think was beer. He took a CB radio. He took a pellet gun so that he could shoot the balloons when he wanted to come down, which actually didn't happen because he actually ended up dropping the BB gun. So he actually ended up not using that and getting down that way. And his flight did become a bit chaotic. He also took a camera, which he didn't use because of the fact that his flight became too chaotic. He actually rose up a lot quicker than he was expecting to, and I think he said he started to go numb, so he then used his CB radio to let people know that he was okay, but that his flight had gone off course and stuff. So yeah, he did take a camera up, but didn't actually take any photographs because his flight did not go to plan. So the answer to this question, Bonds said he would take, well, sort of jokingly said that he would take the 42 Balloons soundtrack over him, which to be honest I think is probably quite a good idea because it's quite a good catchy soundtrack. So that's probably actually quite a good idea to take that with you. Godfrey said he would take his guitar with him and maybe write some new songs for the show, or just write some new songs in general. Evie said she would probably also take a camera like Larry did, but she would actually use it. I think she said she'd take some selfies and stuff. And Charlie said that I can't actually remember what Charlie said. I think he just said he wouldn't take anything that would distract him from like the scenery or anything. I don't think he actually said what he would actually take. I have to look back on the video and see, but I think he just said he wouldn't take anything that would distract him. So maybe he said he wouldn't take anything. I'm not quite sure what his answer was. It was something like that. So then after the questions, the event then concluded with another performance, this time of Lawn Chair Larry, which is a new song that has been written for the show. It was actually released as a single today, and the music video was also released today for that song. So we were actually asked not to film that song, and because they were releasing a music video. So I will actually link down below if I can, where you can actually go and listen to the music video of Lawn Chair Larry, because again, it's another fantastic song, and that song has been stuck in my head again ever since I saw it at the launch. So yeah, some really good songs we were treated to at the launch. And we were also told at the launch actually that an EP will be released of some songs from the show on the 8th of March. So really looking forward to that coming out. And that is everything that happened at the launch. So like I said earlier, 42 Balloons is premiering at the Lowry from the 18th of April until the 19th of May. Tickets are on sale now. I will leave a link down below to where you can buy tickets. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to seeing this musical. I love to see new musicals, and knowing what some of the songs sound like from this, I'm super excited to see it. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this little video. If you have, please do give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.